Hey guys, the insane amount of censorship and shadow banning coming out from Google is forcing me to seek to post my content to other platforms. So please join me on Steemit, on BitChute, on VidMe, on Minds.com, and on DTube. Maybe together we can teach Google a little lesson. By the way, there is a little story about the shaving of the beard, and I got some things coming up on this channel that I think you're really gonna love. Like I said on my tweet recently, I'm gonna ride this YouTube train until the wheels fall off. I'm gonna keep posting my content here, but really, the writing is on the wall for content creators like myself, Paul Joseph Watson. There's a whole list of other people that are just completely getting shut down and absolutely demonetized. And another thing, I want to thank all you guys who support this channel on Patreon and PayPal. I really appreciate it. Without you, videos like this absolutely would not be possible. You guys enjoy the video. An ingrained sense of patriotism and nationalistic pride may cause you to throw up your defense shield as your mind absorbs the content in this video. But I want to encourage you to hear me out. If you believe that anything I say here is inconsistent with the concepts of self-ownership, genuine human compassion, and true liberty, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you feel the urge to downvote this video, all I request is that you stop and ask yourself if you have a logical basis for doing so. The ultimate travesty that comes from the belief in a political authority is not that it helps evil people to commit evil, which it does, but that it dupes well-intentioned, decent human beings into accepting, condoning, or even committing evil themselves without even noticing that they're doing so. That's one of the main reasons why I find July 4th to be so discouraging and depressing. Every July 4th, many millions of Americans, in one way or another, partake in the loud, ostentatious spectacle of celebrating Independence Day, having parades and picnics, waving flags and watching fireworks, in order to commemorate and honor what exactly? Some people who over 2 centuries ago didn't want to pay taxes on tea and paper? Or something about taxation without representation? Well, whatever it was, it definitely had something to do with being for freedom and against tyranny. Somehow. And that's about as precise as most Americans' thoughts about Independence Day actually are. And really, the day is less about thoughts and more about feelings. Feelings of camaraderie or loyalty, maybe some rebellion. Definitely a heavy dose of patriotism and some general notion that we should all be thankful for the service of some people who fought for our freedoms, or something like that. Never mind the specifics, just feel good. Swell with pride when you hear nationalistic songs and then proudly recite your oath of loyalty written by a National Socialist, swearing that loyalty to your political masters. Wait, what? How exactly does celebrating freedom equate to swearing allegiance to a republic, which is a form of government or ruling class? Well, it doesn't.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for those who dare to look, this is where the true diabolical nature of patriotism starts to rear its ugly head. Once upon a time, a few short generations ago, nationalism and patriotism were openly warlike, an overt expression of pack mentality and a sense of superiority. The basic tone was something like, "We rule you and you suck, so we're gonna kill you and take your stuff." One empire after another has violently conquered vast territories, driven by that evil but at least honest outlook. And the agenda of those in power hasn't changed much since then. But because most people today don't think that killing his neighbor and stealing his stuff is okay, even if the guy looks, sounds, or thinks a bit differently, the propaganda and spin used by those in power is now a lot different in order to deceive decent, peaceful people into supporting authoritarian agendas. And patriotism is among the most powerful tools of tyrants. Through prolonged exposure to feel-good nationalistic propaganda, the average American now has inside his head a jumble of unrelated, even contradictory concepts all muddled together into one indecipherable mess. The average person will proudly proclaim that he loves his country and will express that love by displaying the American flag. To him, the symbol vaguely represents some combination of freedom and goodness in everything that is familiar and comfortable to him. Parades and fireworks, hot dogs and beer, and apple pie. And then, with those positive feelings in his heart, he will proudly recite something that is the exact opposite of freedom and independence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. In short, all the feel-good, emotionalistic jingoism is there to make him enjoy swearing loyalty to a ruling class. That's what it means to giving an oath of allegiance to a republic. And every July 4th, many millions of Americans miss the drastic irony of celebrating an act of illegal, treasonous rebellion against the state, i.e. the signing of the Declaration of Independence, by swearing loyalty to a ruling class. And that was by design. People have been intentionally conditioned and trained to confuse the concepts of freedom and country and independence and patriotism and one's home and his neighbors, the things he loves, and the government that exploits and controls him. In short, patriotism is used by tyrants to exploit people's devotion to the good things they love and cherish and twist it into an emotional attachment to a political entity, a ruling class which is in every way the arch enemy of those good things: freedom, peace, and justice. That's why the sight of American flags everywhere should frankly sicken us. Of course, the people who display those flags aren't trying to condone oppression, imperialism, and slavery. They mean well. They imagine that they're cheering for liberty and goodness. But the symbol they're using literally represents a parasitical, authoritarian monstrosity. Ironically, one far worse than what the people in 1776 were declaring independence from. And if you want to take a look at what public displays of nationalism look like to me, then take a look at some pictures of little German children waving the Nazi flag. Other than the colors and design, there's not a whole lot of difference. To a small child in the United States, the American flag means happy celebrations. It means his friends, his family, his home, his country, whatever his country is. But to a small child in the Middle East, that same flag can mean armed invaders, terror, and death. So which does it really mean? Well, you aren't really supposed to ponder that, especially when everyone around you is feeling so good and thinking so little while waving Old Glory around. But to try to pretend that it still represents freedom, while that same flag flies in front of the IRS, ATF, and DEA offices, while that same flag adorns the soldiers and war machines committing terrorism, torture, and murder around the world, is the result of willful blindness. Loyalty to freedom and loyalty to one's country, a political entity, have always been and always will be incompatible. The American Revolution, at least in the minds of most of those who fought it, may have been about freedom, but the creation of a new ruling class by way of the Constitution was not, no matter how hard the statist propagandists pretend otherwise. In fact, that's the real abomination of Independence Day. Watching power-happy crooks continue to hijack people's love of freedom and twist and mangle it into loyalty to a ruling class when the two are the exact and precise opposites. When people are happily celebrating, feeling positive, empowered, and hopeful, part of me doesn't want to upset them by pointing out the hypocrisy, insanity, and downright evil that they're indirectly and inadvertently advancing. I don't particularly want to offend all the military veterans by pointing out that while they're being showered with praise today, all they actually did was to act as both pawns and victims of the politicians' war machine. They never fought for our freedoms. Yes, I want people to enjoy life and be happy and have hope for the future. But we should also want them to understand that subservience and loyalty to imaginary political authorities is not the road that leads there. Ever. That's why the modern day spectacle of Independence Day, where millions of Americans display their profound misunderstanding and confusion by giving lip service to liberty and justice for all, while proudly flying the flag of their captors and oppressors, is just depressing to me. If you guys have any thoughts on this, leave them for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and share it with others. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe and notification button and you'll be alerted when I upload new videos. Today's shirts for the day are Truth, the new hate speech, Truth is treason in the empire of lies, and Macdeaths, eat fast, die young. Your $5 off promo code is in a link in the description for you for every shirt in the store. Don't forget to leave your thoughts for the world and the Google Thought Police in the comments section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.